Hey everybody, what's up? As you could probably see there, I'm going to talk about Sonic Christmas Blast. This is basically, it's just up there, my own personal experience with Sonic Christmas Blast. And what that means, I want to let you guys know what my reaction was when I first saw this. And I can tell you quite honestly, I was shocked, I'll say that. I mean, basically, as anybody knows, it came out in 1996. And around that time, me and my father had just come back to California to visit my family. My 17-year-old nephew was only 1 at the time. My 20-year-old niece was 4, or I believe. Yeah, I think she was 4, something like that. 92, 93, 94, 95. Yeah, she was about 4. And like I say, my nephew was 1 year old. My 17-year-old nephew was 1. My other 2 nephews weren't born yet, and my great nephew wasn't even born yet. So you could consider that. But anyway, this was basically, like I say, around the time that my 20-year-old niece was 4 and my 17-year-old nephew was 1. And I remember we came out to visit. And I remember sitting in front of the TV, just switching back and forth, just, keeping myself busy and stuff. And I clicked on USA temporarily because it said Sonic. Because I looked, one of the things I did back then before I moved to Kansas, and even when I was there in Kansas and came back here and came back for visit, and I still do it, is I would read through the TV guide and see what was on. So I read through the TV guide and I saw Christmas Blast. I saw Sonic Christmas Blast, something Sonic on USA. Now, I didn't know at the time that Sonic had been purchased by USA. That basically the USA Network had purchased the rights, or acquired the rights, to air Sonic the Hedgehog cartoons, in other words, Adventures and Sat AM. I had no idea about that until the following year. In the summer, as I was going into my senior year in high school, I went into sort of like vocational summer deal to sort of get an idea of what living on my own or living in a dorm-like environment would be, or dorm-like housing would be like in Topeka, Kansas. And I remember I tuned on the television one day on USA, and it was Sat AM. Sat AM was on there. This was on a weekday. And I was surprised by that. And, of course, later on I found out that it was both Adventures and Sat AM that were on there. So, anyway, I didn't know, when I researched even more as the years went on here online on the internet, that USA Network had acquired the rights to both shows. One, of course, which Sat AM may have basically accused USA of butchering due to time restraints. But getting back to what I was saying, I saw that on USA. And ironically, the scene that I saw was with Sally. And I'm thinking, hey, that looks like Sally. And when I saw it, I'm thinking, that looks like Sally in her pink coloring. I didn't notice the hair at first, but it was a pink coloring until years later when I finally saw the special, a year or so, 3 later, when I finally saw the special in its full length. Only then did I notice that it was Sally in her Sat AM design, but in her original pink coloring with her reddish hair, which was kind of surprising. But again, getting back to what I'm saying, that was my first experience with the special, was when it first came on. And it really surprised me. It surprised a lot of people. I'm pretty sure of it. And I'm sure anybody that watches it for the first time ever nowadays, or in the past few years, would feel the same way. Now, a lot of people want to know why a character like Sally was in there, and I'm pretty sure they want to know why Robotropolis was pronounced Robotropolis, and why the SWAT-bots were not what they seemed, if you will. Well, I did what I call a shoot commentary on this last year. And I want to let anybody know what a shoot commentary is, first of all. A shoot commentary, for me, is basically where I speak unscripted. You know, I'll say what I want to say, and if it doesn't sound like a commentary to some people, then hey, that's just the way I do things. So basically I did a shoot commentary. And yeah, I admit maybe it did spoil some things, but that's how I am. I mean, you listen to a lot of commentaries on other DVDs and stuff, it's very similar. It's very, very similar. So anyway, the reason the special was the way it was animated in the style of Adventures, but the reason it had some references, if not homages and cameos, if you will, of SatAM, was basically because it was a hybrid. Now, I said basically in my commentary last year, I said it was, with Sally's appearance in there, I said maybe the writers, maybe the creators wanted to know what it would look like if she had been part of Adventures and not just SatAM. Which could also be true. But the more I thought about it, the more I come to realize that it's not just that, but it's also the fact that they wanted to do something for both fan bases. You see, they knew there were people that liked Adventures, but they also knew there were people that liked SatAM, probably more so. So what they decided to do, in my personal opinion, is they decided to give both fan bases something out of the special. You see, if you're a SatAM fan, you would probably expect, and out of all the cartoons, all the Sonic cartoons, you would probably expect SatAM to be the one that gets the Christmas special. Well, it didn't. The closest it ever got was The Odd Couple, which is not a Christmas special, but it kind of takes place during the winter, so you kind of have you have that snowy effect. You have that snow effect, if you know what I mean. But getting back to what I was saying, if you're a fan of SatAM, you would expect maybe SatAM to be the first out of any of the Sonic cartoons to get a Christmas special, not Adventures. And that's why when Sonic Christmas Blast was created or was being developed, in my personal opinion, I think they realized that they needed to do something that would say, okay, fan base, you want Sonic SatAM? Here you go. Here's Sonic SatAM with Sally's appearance. Here's Sonic SatAM with references to the SWAT-bots, even though they don't look like them. Here's references to Robotropolis, even though it's called Robotropolis, and so on. So that's basically what it was. They gave references, and with Sally's appearance and stuff, basically created a bit of a hybrid. And you could also tell that there was a hybrid because Sonic's animation style was not like that of Adventures. In Adventures, his animation style was basically shiny. He was all shiny and all that. Here it was basically kind of like regularly colored, brightly colored, but it was sort of basically, in a sense, the coloring to me was a light coloring, basically because of the fact it was a special, of course. The animation always ends up being a little different when it comes to a holiday special. But also, you could tell that it was kind of driven through influence by SatAM. So, the way it was. Now, to me, that is why I look at this as not just probably a way of the creators thinking, what if this was taking place in the Adventures world, or what if this character was in the Adventures world? But it was more so now the more I thought about it, more of a hybrid for fans to enjoy, for both sides of the fan base. For those that liked Adventures, for those that liked SatAM, and those that liked both. Now, one of the things a lot of people say is Sally has pointed out with Sally's cameo is that she has no voice actress. because when you first see her and Sonic says, "Hey, you got it, Sal. Our Christmas deal, no presents," and he's running off towards Tails. You see Sally putting her hand up like she's about to say something. Putting her arm up, her finger up, like she's about to say something, like she's going to try to call Sonic back on something. Or call Sonic back so she can tell him something. But it's cut. But it looks like it's just cut right there. And a lot of people have assumed the reason being is because they couldn't get a voice actress. And that might be true. I've thought the same thing. I'm thinking they either couldn't get Cat Sushi to come in and do like a little cameo voice acting for Sally, a little voice acting cameo for Sally, or else they couldn't get someone that sounded like her to come in. I mean, all you get from Sally is little gasps and all that, like when Sonic tosses all the presents on her at the end. But anyway, I do agree that I think there was more to that scene. And I think Sally was meant to speak in this special, but didn't have a chance because either due to budget reasons or due to the fact that they couldn't get a deal made with Cat Sushi or whoever they were going to get to voice Sally, even for one or two scenes in this special. But overall, I thought it was a good special. Honestly, I did. I mean, it did have the humor of adventures, you know, it's to be expected, but it kind of had more of that SatAM feel to it. And I think that's why every Sonic fan of both sides likes it. Because it is, like I said, it has the adventures, the humor and everything of adventures, but it also has that, you know, kind of that SatAM feel to it, that kind of like SatAM that kind of atmosphere you get when you watch SatAM. It had that kind of atmosphere and feeling to it. And I think that's why everybody enjoyed it. Now, a little bit of trivia for you. Sonic Christmas Blast was actually supposed to be named An Extremely Sonic Christmas. Basically, the reason it was given that original title was because Sega had plans to do a game called Sonic X-treme, which I believe, I could be wrong, was supposed to be one of the games proposed to be the video game debuts, the official video game debuts of Sally, Bunny, Rotor, Antoine, and a few others. But it was canceled, and all we got was 3D Blast, which is why the Christmas special, believe it or not, was renamed Sonic Christmas Blast. Anyway, again, my own personal experience, like I said, when I first saw this, was surprised because I didn't even know they had made it until I looked in TV Guide and saw Sonic on the USA grid, USA Network grid. Turned it on and saw Sally there, and I'm thinking, whoa, what the heck? You know, because I didn't even expect her to be in that. I didn't. I mean, I did, but I didn't really expect her to be like that. I'm thinking, what? You know. I mean, let's be honest, the closest we ever got to any kind of Christmas-related thing with Sonic was in the earlier issues. I think it was issue 605, where the backup story was based on A Christmas Carol. If you know what I mean, based on A Christmas Carol. That's the closest we ever got anything Christmas-wise. But, you know, to me, again, I was like the people at Spin Dash. You know, Spin Dash have done their own commentary a couple years ago on Christmas Blast. And Spin Dash, two of them are like, what? What? Hang on? Huh? Like they couldn't believe what they were seeing when they saw Sally. So, and again, that was my reaction. I'm sure the reaction of anybody when they first saw the special, whenever they first seen it. So, but again, that was my own personal experience. I was surprised that, you know, I was surprised at the fact that, you know, she was in it. I was surprised at the fact that it was sort of a mixture, a hybrid of both shows. So, but that's basically my own personal experience with Sonic Christmas Blast, and basically what I know about it and what I've found out about it. So, if anybody's got any comments, let me know down below. Video responses are greatly appreciated. Let me know what your own personal experiences were when you first saw the special. Comment down below. Video responses are greatly appreciated. and I'll talk to y'all later.